tell us a little bit about the difference between working at, for example, Morgan Stanley to moving into something growing like Dija and then acquired by GoPuff.
Yeah, so I think actually there's three differences. So the first one, if you think about investment banking, it's a professional services firm, very structured, very big. The second one is venture capital, which is the investing world, and then you go into sort of like operating actual industry experience. So it's like probably the three type of sort of like career buckets that you can actually have. When you're talking about professional services, especially to like large cap companies, which is what investment banking actually is, what you realize is you're working with larger companies. And therefore, by default, everything needs to be sort of like very polished. And therefore, you gain a lot of sort of methodology, you gain a lot of, let's call it process, a lot of attention to detail. However, when you go into sort of like more into the investment side, it's the complete opposite. Like at the end of the day, you still need to be sort of have a lot of attention to detail, but it's sometimes much more, especially in the pre-seed seed, about moving fast, about having the right network, about all of the other skills that you do not develop sort of when you're in the professional services industry, especially serving large cap, because now you're working with founders.
Yeah.
And that's much more than sort of having the best process or the best methodology. At the end of the day, like every single founder is completely unique, and they're at a stage where you need to compete, and to compete, you actually need that speed. And then when you move into sort of like the operating side, I think the biggest sort of difference that I saw was you switch from in investing, everything is very external focus. So you spend 90% of your time with people that are not within your organization, within your own actual venture capital fund. You spend most of your time with founders, other funds, other business angels. Like you're building your brand, you're building your network. And it's amazing because you basically get to explore and expand your network massively. But it's very sort of, to an extent, a little bit high level because therefore you cannot sort of really go deep in any of those relationships necessarily, or it's harder. However, when you switch into operating, it's the complete opposite. Now you spend 90% of your time with internal teams, with your marketing team, with your tech team, with your product team, solving problems inside the business.
Yeah.
And it's very, very different. So it's like a completely switch of mentality, of
mindset,
of how do you go from a very sort of like external facing type of role to a very internal facing, spending a lot more time sort of with people that you're working to solve a specific problem, and going very, very deep to the point of like, what's the price of a banana?